Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourselves in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Hong Kong House of Cards. This afternoon's scene, or this evening's scene, will be set in the Hollow One Sanctum, located deep in the bowels beneath Carpe Noctem, as Gravedigger sits and broods behind his desk, contemplating life, the universe, and everything. There is the constant sound of his long black fingernails clacking against the table.
Pyro is still downstairs in the sanctum. Even from upstairs at this stage.
Oh no, I'm in the sanctum, Anthony. That's what I said.
All right, sorry, misheard you. Yeah, in that case, Gravedigger should be able to see that the room itself has now got hundreds of little paper targets dotted around the room. And Pyro occasionally throws small pebbles into the air and uses forces to send them flying across the room, trying to hit targets. He's managing to hit about half of them at this stage.
On the bright side, your aim's improving.
Shut up, or I will aim one at your head. Even if I miss, it might give you a look of terror for a split second. He will slump down in a chair. In the short time that he's been doing this training, even Gravedigger will have noticed his old friend has gone grey. Perhaps the stress is getting him.
I've been thinking, Gravedigger says, what with fucking Hermetics, Master Dessau's fucking moron technocracy, I think that we should get the fuck out of Hong Kong.
Apart from the bit about fucking Hermetics, I agree. Starting to bother me.
What, life, the universe, and everything?
Let's face it, I'm already getting migraines in this place. If I have to deal with one, I have to walk down one more street and start. I mean, I walk down the street and I see cameras. If I do it much more, I'll have bloody whiplash. I want it to stop, Gravedigger. And short of trying to liquidize someone, I don't think it's going to stop. With a bloody wall up, which incidentally no one in the city seems able to bring down, despite all promises. Surrounded by idiots and children.
You see Gravedigger kick back in his chair. He places both of his hands behind his head and kind of scooches them under his top hat. Yes.
I'm going to make a roll now.
Okay, to do what?
Basically, I'm going to try and knock the front legs of your chair out so your chair will fall backwards. It'll teach you to lean back and look smug.
No, he's not actually leaning back, as in he's leaning back in the chair. He's not actually leaning the chair back.
All right, in that case, I'll leave it. Smug bastard.
But he'll say, funny thing, isn't it? The fact that we basically live in a cave.
No, not really. It's more like living inside a binding circle. And I don't like being in a binding circle. Next, the technocrats will be trying to summon me, and that'll really piss me off. He'll actually look at Gravedigger and go, and if I hear the words "Right of Ashkente" out of your mouth, I'm punching your teeth in.
Nonsense. We'd have to make sure the spirit of death was at a party before we did that.
Let's face it, old boy. All I have to do is put you in party dress, and death is at a party.
You have a rather high opinion of me.
No,
Or
it's
rather,
really funny to see you conjured out of a dinner dress.
you can see him, Gravedigger nods, and he says, perhaps. But yeah, I'm of the mindset that we should get the fuck out of the city. When the wall comes down, honestly, I've got no idea how long it will be before they put the wall back up. But the fuckwits of Fuckwit Brigade, also known as the Fairies, have apparently found out how to take the wall down.
I thought I've told you before, don't start molesting the Fae.
I'm not.
You're insulting them. Never insult the fair folk. That always ends badly. With the whole dying of crops and curdling of milk and children turning into cows. Never ends well.
Gravedigger kind of looks at you and goes, milk, cows, really?
Look, when I was being taught, we were always warned about the whole children turning into cows thing. We all laughed. Till Brother Amadeus turned into a cow. He turned back a week later, but the fact is he was a cow for a week. We never wanted to ask him what it was like when the bull took an interest.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So he didn't just anthropomorphically change. No. He had an anthropomorphic sex change.
I said the word cow for a bloody good reason. I didn't say cattle, I said cow. Turned into a cow.
Funny.
Funny to you. Try telling a 12-year-old boy that you must not explain it to anybody. Poor lad, it messed him up for life. I mean, we were all young at the time, but still. It was an odd time of life.
What was it like with growing up with the Order of Hermes?
Occasionally stressful, a lot of the time entertaining. The dormitory we were in was all part of a big sanctum, so we could practice magic without any problem. The number of times robes and clothing were set on fire, it was unbelievable. There was a woman, used to be about a house flambeau, one of our teachers. Taught us forces. Came in once a week at first, tell us the dangers of using elemental magic too immensely. Then there was the hair on fire incident. The girl never forgave me. But from that point on, the flambeau woman came in every night to remind us we were not to set fire to ourselves, the dormitory, or the girls in the dormitory next door. I've never received such sound thrashing than I did from her. But it was bloody worthwhile. There were some irritating people back at the dorm.
And what, if you don't mind me asking, was your awakening like?
He looks you dead in the eyes. I burnt down an entire convent. I was
Not bad.
And I remember I was raised at the convent up until about the age of 6. That was when the men in sunglasses turned up. Technocrats. About 5 minutes later, the guys in red robes turned up. And then I remember this really fat guy walking in. Big pointy hat, big beard. Walked in and told me that no one else could see it. Everybody told me if I wanted them all to go away, they would. I just had to wish really, really hard. all my effort behind it, my will behind it, and I would make it work. 6-year-old kid, it was terrifying. But the grown-up man with the beard was telling me I could do it, so I did it. The entire convent burnt down. 20 technocrats burnt to death, as did 16 members of the Order of Hermes. And before 3 nights were up, I was officially dead and adopted by the Order. I don't even know my original name. Guess that's kind of a protection in a way. Hard to have your true name fucked with when you don't remember it.
Obviously, you took the name Pyro when you joined up with us. What was it before that?
Brother Simon, they called me. Back at the door. They gave me a full name. After that, well, it was fun back in the Order. People have a hidebound idea of the Order of Hermes, but it was fun. I mean, they let me leave. I was apprenticed at the age of 12. Then, a few years later, I watched my master and mentor get thoroughly beaten by a member of the Celestial Chorus. Up until that point, I'd always thought the choristers couldn't be beaten. Oh, sorry, choristers couldn't win. Yeah. I thought the Order was unstoppable back in the day.
And then you started to see the chinks and the cracks.
More the gaps in my own education. I still believe the Order is the greatest force among the traditions. They're the best of a bad lot, in my opinion. I'm a desperate for a very good reason, Gravedigger. There are gaps in everyone's education in the traditions. They miss things. And missing things creates weaknesses. And weaknesses are things we don't need now.
I think that's why we're losing the war.
Pretty much. That being said, we'll probably win eventually. Make the dream. There's one thing a technocracy can't handle, it's a dream.
You're not wrong. Eventually it'll all crumble. Eventually it'll all fall down. I mean, the technocrats are realistically their own worst enemy, aren't they? Look at them. They used to have the Sons of Ether. Then they said Ether didn't exist. They used to have the Mercurial Elite. And then they downloaded their boss into hyperspace. Or cyberspace, or wherever the fuck they put him.
The funny part is, when you think about it, they're mages, but they don't want to say it. And that means that they need magic as much as we do. They spend their whole lives convincing themselves that magic is evil, trying to destroy it. They never will. Because every effort they make to wipe us out makes Paradox stronger. One day, it takes 1,000 years, a Paradox will turn on them. They'll realize what they've done. Their technology will falter, and humankind doing what it does, it will turn back to the weird little quirks that they always do. After all, they've always been dark ages. What takes us another dark age? Mankind will forget bits of technology. Magic will come back in, and the whole cycle starts again.
It's all such a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep. I remember my history lessons pretty well. Yeah. This wall, there's...
Don't get me wrong. This wall that they've created, frankly, it's genius.
It's the best bit of correspondence I've ever seen. And I knew guys who could summon demons. They were never great at it. They could do it. So, yeah, this thing, I don't think anyone short of correspondence Archmage could break it. Well,
No, they can't. It's been fed so much power. It's essentially become its own thing at this point. But how to explain?
That's a self-sustaining correspondence loop. That's dangerous.
Yes.
Because it's like any flow of energy. You shape it, you direct it. What did they say back in Prime? Yeah, treat quintessence like water. Think of it like water. Always wanting to flow. If you try and jam it up for too long, it'll turn stagnant. Try and dam it up, the pressure will build and eventually it will burst. Even artifacts must be made so that they shape the flow of quintessence, but never restrain it. Which means what they've built is something that shapes quintessence into a containing vessel. Something that holds quintessence and directs it. Which is really scary in a way.
Yep. It's genius all the same. Basically, if they prove that their plan works here, what's to stop them setting up bubbles all over the place? What's to stop them going to the Chantries in New York and locking them away? Then it's only a matter of time. What happens if they were to take it to jolly old London? Lock it away. Lock and key. That's why they have to be defeated here, because then they'll reevaluate their plan, see its failings. Then they won't try elsewhere. So you see, we're actually standing at the forefront of the war right here.
Mm-hmm. They'll try again. Just make sure it's hard as a break.
Hopefully, if they try again, we will happen to have moved to a city where they are not currently attempting to try.
Mm. What I mean, Greg, is they always try again. Ironically enough, the technos don't learn from their mistakes very often. Mostly because they think they're right.
You know, it's amazing that they can see the tapestry of fate so clearly. They can reach out, change it if they wanted to, and have. But yet they don't understand what they're playing with.
Yeah. They're so convinced of their own correctness, they refuse to make changes. It's going to destroy them in the end. But you never know. We might get lucky.
Well, as you said, you're desperate because you don't want to drink the Kool-Aid anymore.
I didn't.
You don't. Well, what you said was you don't want to accept the weaknesses of traditions.
Not so much drinking the Kool-Aid. It's more... magic's supposedly like a tapestry.
Mm.
Like being blind to certain colours. Athletics are blind to certain colours. The Dream Speakers are blind to certain colours. The Varna are blind to other colours. I want to see them all. Because if I don't, I might miss something important. Try back in the order. I got told at the time those things like that end up outside the order. As much for their own safety as anything else's. Partly what inspired me to leave. And the order don't mind if you go. Just mind as long as you keep your oath. Which I do. And I'll be honest with you, old boy. There's nothing you could do that would make me break that oath. At least in part, because if I did, they'd hunt me down to the ends of the earth.
Gravedigger shrugs and he says, Oddly enough, I'm not so much interested in having you break your word. Odes are interesting little things, aren't they?
In general, if you believe the stories, they're incredibly valuable to the fair folk.
Yes, I did have that rather one freakish-looking one-eyed bastard decide it would be a good idea to swear he'd kill me. So, does that mean I have to kill him harder?
If he's fair folk, probably. All their legends and all the legends about them make it pretty clear. They view the world in a freakish way. Now, there's that story of village finds a child been swapped for a changeling. I know apparently it's something different. The story, the changeling baby swap. So the villagers they take the changeling baby and they kill it. They burn it. According to the legend, the changeling is off to the fairy, sorry, is off to one side and says that they would happily swap the child back if the parents had just said they weren't happy with the trade. That's how they think. They'll kidnap you, torture you, even kill you. Because they think it's okay. You just have to play to their mentality. Which probably drives you crazy. Incidentally, we are going to need to think of a way of boxing all this place up before we leave. If we're going.
Gravedigger kind of stands and looks at the library and goes, well, what?
Yeah. We're going to need a lot of boxes.
Mm.
Of course, if we have time, I might be able to train up to the stage where I can make us one of those Mary Poppins bags.
Oh, I like those. That would be infinitely useful.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, out of character, what kind of spheres would you need to make something like that's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside?
I'd say at least prime 4, probably correspondence 3 or 4, and possibly matter, life, and time as well. Just so it all ran concurrently inside.
Gravedigger will say, unfortunately, I don't think we have that kind of time. Realistically, I think we're going to be dealing with movers.
Yes, but how are you going to explain to them that they have to stop at a certain point on the road outside the city and they can't go any further?
What do you mean?
Well, if we have movers, we're going to have to tell them, yeah, stop here. Why, sir? Because of the big glowy wall of death 10 yards further.
Well, no, as in we'll hire the movers. They can move the books to an address we specify. Probably. By the way, where do you want to move?
There's a few old places that I wouldn't dare go to now.
Such as?
When I was younger, we always used to talk about going to Vienna. Then we all found out that place is filled with vampires. I mean, fucking full.
Question, because I can't remember out of character. How much Order of Hermes lore do you have?
I think it's like 2 or 3. That's why I don't know their Tremere.
Has Gravedigger ever told you that?
Not that I know of. It's one of those things where the city is full of vampires. It's like Transylvania. Let's see, where else? Could go to Venice.
No vampires in Venice.
What?
Yeah.
What is it?
Giovanni.
Cities.
I don't fucking know. Called the Giovanni.
Giovanni.
Giovanni. They like to think they do what I do, aka necromancy. Only I'm better at it.
That's a silly name.
It's the family name. I don't know why.
Giovanni. It's a silly name.
It is a silly name.
Okay, so it's Vienna and Venice out.
Madrid.
Madrid's possible. Hold on. Go through the list here. Vampires.
Don't think so.
The shapeshifters.
Fucked if I know.
The Fairfolk. Okay, so as far as we know, no vampires, but possible shifters and possible Fairfolk.
On the bright side, Spider would get to speak Spanish on a more regular basis.
That's true. But then again, isn't his Spanish a different variety?
Once again, fucked if I know.
Well, he's Latin American, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Is that a different dialect at this point?
Yeah, Latin American Spanish is different from like Hispanic stuff. What's the word? Catalan? No. Castellano? It's something like that. Anyway, I think it's a different dialect, but yeah. Possibly good. Let's face it, we're both sick and tired of the rain here.
Monsoon season is indeed a thing.
Yes, and if I have to sleep through one more bloody typhoon, my head is going to explode.
There's always whatchamacallit, there's always
not going back to bloody Kansas.
Inside joke. No. I was going to say there's always London.
If I recall correctly, but you told that guy would shoot you. Then again, just try not to annoy the underworld again. And I don't mean your underworld.
Oh, you mean as opposed to you mean the underworld as opposed to the underworld.
Persuade one more crime boss not to put a bullet in your head and throw it.
In my defense, chances are the bullets would miraculously miss.
Yes, and then we'd both get killed by Paradox. I don't need that shit on Saturday morning.
What about a Sunday afternoon?
Depends how much you're into.
I mean, I've come to the realization. Do you speak Spanish? I don't.
I can learn it in a couple of hours. You forget. Mind magic.
You're not wrong.
I think ultimately London probably is best, though. I mean, we're fairly certain there's no vampires or shifters in London, right?
Not that I know of.
And London's got that much bloody... I mean, steel is made of iron, right?
From what I'm led to understand, yes.
And according to all the stories, iron fucks the Fairfolk, right?
That may in fact be a thing, yes.
In which case, logically, steel contains iron.
I would assume.
Skyscrapers, so in theory, should keep them up on that. I know what you're going to say. No, Hong Kong has it too. But they also have a lot of wooden buildings here. A lot more of them than in London. Bet you the Fairfolk avoid skyscrapers.
That seems like it would be an important field of academic research, that would.
Actually, that's a good point. I suggest we find one of the Fairfolk and follow them around with a length of steel. They'll either think we're going to hit them over the head and steal their lunch money, or they'll ignore us, or possibly run away from the iron in the steel. Whichever one they do will be important academic information.
Purely for science, right? Purely for science.
Purely for magic, old bean.
Man.
Fuck science.
Whatever you say, Harry Potter. Whatever you say.
Hey, science is the technocrat shit. I'm a fucking wizard.
The hat does make it somewhat obvious.
Yes, it's a new hat. Willow reinforcement. Because, from what I'm told, it could stop a farmhouse. Haven't had to test it yet.
I hope you never do.
You never know. Might go out in red boots and see what happens.
I swear to God, I will find the Munchkins. I will do that. It will be a thing.
Yeah, remember it's just like... Do you know if there were like short fairies? Hobbits?
I frankly have no idea.
Because I know there's the brownies, the little house things. They're like house sprites. You're supposed to leave like a bowl of milk out for. I'm just wondering, leave out a load of lollipop. Do you sell in the lollipop guild? Because I want to summon the lollipop guild. Incidentally, Pyro is now looking off into the distance. He looks vaguely on drugs.
Pyro, have you been taking something that Spider's given you again?
What? No. Though, that incense was a bit funky.
Yes, incense.
Well, it was labelled incense. Although it might have actually meant insensate. But I'm conscious, so you can't have meant insensate.
Keep telling yourself that.
Shut up, you.
Don't shoot the message.
Pyro? That's me. Brain. Spiders all the guns.
You're not wrong.
Yes, he's more likely to shoot.
Bang, bang, I shot you down.
I picture you more as a did not shoot the deputy type.
But I did not shoot the deputy. I didn't do it. Who am I kidding? I fucking shot him. I blew his fucking brains out.
Yes. Speaking of which, where is that Tony woman?
Ugh.
Fucking weeks.
The Lord I decapitate.
What?
A nickname she's gotten, but it kind of stuck.
Lord High Decapitator. This city is weird. On a level I've never imagined.
Welcome to Hong Kong. Shit gets biblical.
Isn't that Jerusalem?
I suppose.
Might have to go there next Palm Sunday just to see what. If we see a bloke on a donkey be riding through the town, we know things are getting biblical. Speaking of which, is it blasphemous to say that Jesus arrived in Jerusalem on his ass?
I don't know. Fuck knows. He left it getting what was I going to say? He left it getting split down the middle. So you know, it's all well and good, I suppose.
I think phrase you're looking for, old boy, is thoroughly nailed.
Oh, that was the. Well done.
There's only so many puns you can fit into it, though. It does occur to me, though, if we move to London,
Yeah.
we might want to correspondence the building, make it bigger on the inside to make it decent quarters. I mean, I'll admit, the club's nice enough. But we live in the basement, for God's sake.
We do somewhat live in the basement.
Exactly. If I can correspond to a house so that like a 4-story, well, there's all 4-story Victorian tower house things. The other one with the basement and the attic. Rooms.
Yeah.
If I can turn one of them and just got like 5 floors on every floor, which I could probably fucking do given enough time. If I can do something like that, then we have a mansion.
I like living underground.
You would. Personally, I like space. Less chance of setting shit on fire.
There's enough books down here to fill a small fucking football field.
I know. That's another reason I don't like being underground. Harder to make space. You asked me to get the shovel out one more time and I'll beat you over the head with it. Oh, that reminds me. What was it called? The Occultus Ex Nihilo? That's 17th century one, the one about witchcraft?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly herbalism.
Oh. So what, we'll file that under bullshit then?
Well, no, I mean, the herbalism is good. It's just, it's more hedge stuff than anything else. Like old herbal remedies. Maybe traded to a Vagana.
No.
For what we do.
I don't fucking like the Verbena.
No, but you can always get a favour out of one of the tree huggers. That's a reference a night with a naked druid. Then again, I have to admit, their constant complaining about crystals is extremely irritating. I've been tempted more than once to start throwing rock quartz at them to see what happens. I think it would be highly entertaining.
Right. In that case, I'm going to look into getting us a new premises in London. Fortunately, the technocracy might have us sealed in here, but the internet still works.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed by that, to be honest. Not the fact that it still works, but you know how to use it.
Yeah.
Or
an
sort who would struggle with a typewriter. And again, there are moments when I've struggled with feather quills. But that's what happens if I keep the spider can't keep this bloody thing separate from mine.
Do I need to separate you two? I'll do it.
Actually, I've had an idea. He'll sit up, he'll reach over and grab basically a hip pen. At this point, I will make a roll. So hold on, I shall open up a dice roll.
Hang on, I will give you the official dice roller.
Okay.
Get something to your Messiah. Get something to your Messiah. What are you rolling for, by the way?
Try and put a relatively weak but long-lasting mind effect onto the kit pen, which I will then leave in Spider's room. So that's 4. Okay, I believe that's 3 successes. So, if I recall correctly, that means it should last for a day.
How many successes did you get?
3. I think it's a day at that point. I think. Or is it a scene?
It's 3 successes is...
It depends.
I can't remember, honestly. Look, it's not going to make a difference.
Okay, basically, let's say for a day, just for the sake of it, if Spider picks up that pen, or anyone picks up that pen, within a day, it will instill them with a feeling of desperate sobriety. As in, they really want to drink or to get high or anything of that sort.
Okay.
No matter how much they've currently used, they feel unpleasantly sober. And wrapping it in paper so the effect doesn't hit him, Pyro will go up to Spider's room and just gently leave it on the bedside.
All right, I think we can kind of leave it there. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Hong Kong House of Cards.